y'all. Welcome to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life, shift your mind, and raise the consciousness type of shit.
Raise it up, raise it up.
I am Mia.
And I'm Christie, and you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends for the next hour or so.
Hey, girlfriend.
Or so.
Okay.
Well, before we get into this episode, what do you all think about the new music intro? Let us know your thoughts. I'd like to hear from you.
Because every time we hear it, we start moving.
Yeah, we start shaking our booty.
But we want to hear from y'all.
Yes. Okay. All right, so recapping from our last episode. So last week we talked about you woke, now what? And we know those are one of those words. Woke is one of those words.
It's one
a
of
lot
those
of different
words.
things to different people. But basically, now that you know what you know, how do you continue to live life while straddling the fence as a spiritual being and a human existing in this world? So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you found what we discussed helpful. But I'm going to speak for myself. I'm honestly still trying to figure out the balance because there are some days where I'm like, oh, I'm really enjoying the human existence, you know? And then other days I'm just like, I don't want to be here.
Girl,
I don't want to be here.
That is so interesting. Literally, I just had this conversation today with my ex. It was just like, sometimes you just feel like, I'm just trying to, I want out. And then other days it's like, this is the best shit ever. It is very much so. And then, with this, the energy...
Yeah, the energy. Yeah.
The energy. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
But I feel that. Yeah.
I feel discombobulated. But okay, so that was last week's episode. So Mia, what are we talking about
today, you guys? We are talking about surrendering. And so seriously, we hear this so much, like just surrender. And so we're talking about surrendering to yourself and surrendering to what is and how that allows you to be and move through. And I think I'm so glad the way you brought up, straddling, being a spiritual being, having a human experience is very daunting. And one of the ways to kind of move through that is just surrender to what it is.
Right.
So we're going to talk about that. You know how it is, y'all. We have been trained in programs to believe that if we do X, we get Z. And we are learning.
Sometimes you do X and don't get nothing.
The mathematics not working out, y'all. The math is not there. So we can do everything in our power for a specific outcome, but many times it's just not what we were expecting. So surrendering to what is and allowing ourselves to move through the space in that sphere of surrendering is just different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually, and surrendering is hard. That's It is something that I'm still working on, especially for people who are like type A or controlling or just like things a certain way. Sometimes you just have to learn to just let it go, and I'm learning. So what does it mean to surrender exactly?
Okay, so I think let me just make sure. When I think about the first phase for me, embracing surrendering, is surrendering to what was. I needed to stop going back and looking at situations with in my past decisions that I made or things that happened to me, and trying to color them with a different color or use it as a mechanism or a means to make me feel a certain type of way. And sometimes it just is what the hell it is, and we don't like some of those icky parts of our lives, but trying to erase it and act like it's not there, or like I said, color it a different color, that doesn't necessarily help, because when we surrender to what it actually was and what we actually did or what actually happened, and that allows us to start really understanding what that is for us. But you gotta surrender to it.
You can sugarcoat shit, but it's still gonna be
we need to stop being fucking revisionist. Right. It happened the way it happened. They said what they said. You did what you did. It is what it is. So for me, and then how you were saying, how you think how life should be, that's one of the reasons why we go back and look at stuff, because we want to color it the way that it should have been instead of the way that it actually was.
Yep. And so honestly, surrender, just letting go of expectations. And I think that has been very instrumental for me. Mm-hmm. Because again, I'm one of those people, I mean, of course, we're taught, okay, well, if you get good grades and you go to school, you get a good job, and then you're living life like it's golden. That's not always the case, because you go through all those steps, and sometimes people, their path is different. So just letting go of those expectations and understanding that things will happen the way that they need to happen. There's always a purpose for it. Sometimes when we are in the midst of it, we can't understand why, and there are still a lot of things in my life I don't understand why, but just learning to let go of those expectations. So
I think so okay, I want to talk about that like letting go of expectations, because sometimes people interpret that to mean that I don't have, you're telling me to let go of having an expectation for my life. Right. There's a difference between having a vision and a desire and a dream and an expectation. Yeah. So I have faith.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you don't care.
Right. It's like I have faith in what it is that I came here for, and what I desire is going to happen. And I think that's different from an expectation, because an expectation is, because we'll think like, oh, I want to be a multimillionaire. We have an expectation of how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and when it doesn't look like what that expectation is, sometimes we have a blessing right in front of us, and we can't see it because it doesn't look like what we expected it to be. So when you surrender to the fact that I created this, I have faith in who the hell I am, I have faith in the divinity in me, I know this is not the end of my story, I didn't write it like this, I'm way more creative than this, and allow it to just be and allow life to unfold, that's different from having an expectation.
Right.
At least that's what I think.
Yeah. And I mean, I love analogies, just because for me, they can be very tangible. So think about when we get into a car. We get in a car, we put our seatbelt on. We don't have the expectation that we're going to, get into a car crash. But we have faith that that seatbelt is going to protect us, So, but we're letting go of those expectations that anything can go wrong. We just put the seatbelt in, we go about our way, and we're driving, and, we feel safe. There's no concern,
right? Because there is an expectation of safety, right. Of if something does happen, this my driving prowess. But I understand what you mean. Yeah. It's like that if we just let go, it's interesting. I don't know, now you got me. Okay, so you have me go down a rabbit hole. Okay,
my bad. But so something. So for 2021, I think this has been like my new mood, is that it's none of my business. So the how things unfold, like when we surrender in our life, the how is what we need to just let, the how is none of our business. So it's like, okay, so I am surrendering to the idea that I don't know, give me an example.
I'm going to have a successful business.
Yes, I'm going to have a successful business. Right. And so you are surrendering that, you're giving it to the universe, and you have faith that everything will work out. Does not mean that you don't care. You are surrendering it, you're putting all of your faith in that. But how you get to that successful business person, that's none of your business.
So that's very similar to, like, I think, releasing the expectation. Yes. So, now, and I will say this, faith without works is bullshit. So if you there is some work that has to be. You
can't just sit back.
Right. So, but let's just say you're a high school student. You're saying, okay, I really want to go, to college, and you have an expectation, or you like, I don't know how this is going to happen, and you end up getting a academic scholarship instead of an athletic scholarship, or you know what I mean, if your goal was I need to go away to college, but you had an expectation that you're going to get this basketball scholarship, but you end up getting an academic one, or you got a partial or something, you still have an opportunity to go to school, but because it didn't look like what you thought, or the school that you thought you wanted to go to, this is where you can surrender to, there's a reason for this. Yeah. There's something here for me in this space, in this spot, and releasing, like, but it's not the school that I wanted to, or, you know what I mean? Like, something, jobs.
Yeah.
Surrender to, oh man, I tell you, I can remember there's definitely been, I would say probably one job that I had that it didn't necessarily meet my expectation. That is my low-key way of saying I fucking hated it, but you know. However,
that's the polite way.
That's the polite way. But, and I could not, I mean, I was miserable. But when I tell you, it was in that misery because of that made me say, like, hold on, this isn't it. If you know what I mean, like, I was supposed to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Because I was shorting myself. I wasn't in my purpose. I wasn't in my mission. I took it because it was just, you know, a decent amount of money, what I would consider a decent amount of money then, but I didn't really, I hated it. And it's just like, so you're literally, this job is teaching me, so you're literally willing to go be miserable every freaking day when you know you got a calling on your life to do something completely different. So you just, for what? For some change? Okay, we're gonna see how long this lasts. Yeah. But it's in that uncomfort that, like, I mean, I'm talking about every day that I was able to, that I literally had to, I give up. Okay, fuck it, come on, what we doing?
But I'm sure that when you walked away from, well, you just said that when you walked away from the job, you had a lot of less, like, you learned.
Oh my God, I learned so much. Yeah. But no, I was laid off my job. And I just remember thinking, and when I say I have never been fired, I'm like, it was traumatic as shit to me, like, but honest, and I remember sitting there in this meeting where they're telling me, they're giving me the package and all this, and I remember saying to myself, one day, I'm gonna say this is one of the best things that ever happened to me. I don't feel like that right fucking now. I'm pissed the fuck off. I'm in my feelings. I'm just gonna sit here. But the other part of me was like, yes, fucking free. There was that struggle, but I can say unequivocally it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. And I remember being in that moment, like I know one day I'm gonna say it. I know, but just today ain't the day.
But eventually you had to surrender.
Absolutely, I had to just. Yeah. I mean, because. What are you gonna do? Like you're here, and then it's like, okay, now you immediately go into, let me go get another job. I have a great career, and then I was like, pause, stop, just hold on. You sure that's what you just chill out? Just sit your ass down for a second. We got something for you. Relax. Just ride this wave out, feel them feels, and then you're gonna just surrender. It's like, okay, well, and again. Definitely a lesson and a blessing, but I was not here for the kicks and the giggles in the beginning.
Yeah, and I do want to say that surrendering does not mean that you're giving up. Yes, it doesn't mean that you're just letting it go. It doesn't mean that you don't care.
Because when we think about surrender, people, you think about war. Like, you know, we surrender, raise the white flag, and I think that when we're talking about surrendering to ourselves. Or surrendering to the way life, because I do want us to get into talking about surrendering to yourself, but surrendering to the way that life is unfolding and having the faith that whatever comes my way, I got it. I'm built for this. It might sting, it might hurt, it might be a lesson, you know, it might, whatever it is.
Lesson and blessings.
But surrendering to whatever comes my way, I'm ready. And if I'm not, because, you know, they're saying what they say, you know, God will never give you more than you can handle.
Yep.
And when you think about the fact that you are the creator of your own life, you have to know that when these challenges come, that you created this. So you definitely not about to give yourself something that you can't get yourself out of.
Speak it.
You think about it, it's like, wait, this is my whole life. Do you honestly think I have created a situation in a time that I cannot excel from, that I cannot move forward from? There's no way. Yeah. But when you don't know that you have complete control and sovereignty over your body and how you accept and move through life, you feel like it's happening to me.
Right.
And it is, but you have control over how you move through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, that's part of surrendering. It's just like,
yeah. And I mean, what you said brought up a really good point, and it made me think, because when we learn to surrender in our lives, we realize that life, like you said, isn't happening to us, it's happening for us. And once we start viewing life in that perspective, then we start to see the blessings that life truly has to offer, because it's in our best interest. Like the universe, spirit, God is not going to give you something that's going to damage you, hurt you. Like there are blessings all around us. So once you realize that life happens for us, everything is in your best interest, then you'll start to see, and you'll be able to like reap from that shift in your mindset. Because again, we're talking about shifting that mindset.
Shift your mind.
Right.
So I mean, for real, like surrender. Okay, so how can I say?
There's so much to talk about.
Right. Look, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to. Because I want to make sure that people understand when we talk about surrendering, it is not giving up.
Yeah.
So you'll probably hear us say this several times within this. It's almost surrendering is almost like the ultimate. It's almost like the ultimate commitment to you in your life. Like I surrender. Like I'm okay. It's like, you got somebody who's chasing you to be in a relationship with you. Consider your spiritual self as like, can we please be together now? I'm taking the talking phase. Surrender.
Surrender.
Like are we exclusive yet? What is this? Surrender to the love that you have in yourself, the person that you are, and how much power you have over your life. Is just. Surrendering is beautiful.
Yeah.
Scary.
It is scary, and I think also, and I'm wondering if I'm thinking about this the right way, but when we talk about all of the different, like we talk about the dark side, we talk about the light side, and how we all have both of these sides in us. When you acknowledge that dark side, would you say that you are surrendering to that piece of yourself?
Ooh, interesting. Okay. I think yes and no.
Okay.
I think we're surrendering to
the idea?
Thank you. To the idea that all exists within me. There's no way you can, again, just Mia's words, but I truly believe there's no way that you can truly surrender, I got some more, to the divinity within yourself without acknowledging that all is within you.
Oh, so, yep.
So you're just not like, you know what I'm saying? So
I got that.
Yes and no.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. Oh, I like this. How can you surrender to your life, but where are you trying to control the outcome? Here's a one. I got something for you guys. There's a difference between trying to control the outcome in your energy, in your life, in your creation, and trying to control the outcome in somebody else's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, parents. Real talk. We love our babies.
Yes, we do.
And we do as much as we possibly
some
can.
days.
But seriously. But here's the thing: we do as much as we possibly can, the best that we know at that time, to raise and rear our children, right? And despite sometimes our best efforts, your child will go the fuck left. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. But I gave you this, I showed you this, you know what I mean? And we have to surrender to the fact that that's a whole being.
Yeah.
But as a parent, that guilt is like, oh my God, not my child. How did...
Seriously. You're right about that, because there are a couple of things that I had to surrender to. Because,
it's hard.
My son, I was like, you know what? I did what I was supposed to do. I got to pick my battles. Fine. That's whatever. But
that is an example of surrendering to, like, you cannot control the outcome. I cannot tell you.
I can control my peace.
Ding, ding, ding. Like, I'm telling you, we will pay for the camps and tutors and make sure that they're always busy and try to control every piece of it, because we love our children and we want to give them the best path for them to unfold into the grown up that they will be, right? And sometimes we've been teaching them to be something, and they're just like, no. And it is what it is. And that's I think, as a parent, that one of the hardest things to let go is that I truly have no control over the outcome of my parenting. I have to trust. I have to surrender to the fact that I'm doing what I believe is the best part is the best thing for me to do. And, you know, sometimes we got to check ourselves like, yeah, I kind of fucked that one up. I could have done that a little bit better. But for the most part, I mean, it is what it is. There's lessons there. What they say, you know, failure is the best teacher.
Sure is.
Like, oops, nope, that's not the way to go. Let me try something else. Let me pivot. Let me figure this out.
And you can't have success without failing.
You can't. You seriously can't. So I like this when you say release the illusion of control, because we truly believe we have control over it. And I'm using this as an example.
Me, you guys. Like I literally felt like I can control every aspect of my life. And then I just realized that the only thing I can fully control is me. And
yes.
energy.
I got one even better for you. But I recently had to come to the conclusion. All, I'm going to say enlightened or woke people, I'm air quoting, just because people are awakened to the divinity in them, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to interpret it the same way you do.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know, there's a lot of people that we would consider, I don't know, bad or evil or, you know, into black magic, whatever y'all want to call it. I need y'all to understand. They understand the divinity in them, and they just chose to go the way that they chose. Or I got one even better. People who are awakened their consciousness, they see what's really going on, and they decide, I don't want to play. I'm afraid of that. So they literally go back into the darkness to be a robot. They choose it. And so sometimes we're like, but I know you know. Like,
right.
I know you know what's up. And you still, we have to let surrender
Everything's
to.
a choice. We talked about it. Everything's a choice.
Everything's a choice.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, just surrender to. You can spend your time opening somebody's mind, heart, soul, spirit. Like, look. And they go, oh my goodness, thank you so much. And this is the way I'm going to go. But you're like, but, because we have to release the control of the outcome, especially for other people. Only thing I can do is control my piece of this. As a guide, as a teacher, as a reader, as a healer, I can show and open this free. But if you choose, okay, I see what you're saying, I see, and I think I'm going to go this way, God bless you. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing we can do about that. That has nothing to do with you. So surrender to the fact that people have free will.
Yep.
And you can't control that.
Sure do.
Your husbands, your wives, your pets, we can't control nobody else's nothing. You're like, but I trained this up. Why did he pee in the house? Because he fucking felt like it.
So how would you say you have surrendered in life? Because I will say, like, since we've done the podcast and we've built this friendship, I've learned a lot of things from you. Mia is like, yeah, whatever. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I'm just like, you know, I'm more of the I think, but I'm learning. I am learning.
I would tell you honestly, it's because I took that step and I look back and I'm resilient. Like I when I look back, like there are times I remember that was one of the affirmations that we put up. Just like I made it through shit that I never like. How? Like I never thought possible. So when I look back on it, my bounce back rate is 100%.
Yeah.
And now that especially since I've, you know, embraced more of who I am and really very much so into self-mastery. It's not about mastering or being over somebody else. This is about me.
Yep.
And me, that allows. And then I start, like, when you get open to the divinity in you and how much power you have over your life, it's damn near scary. I can totally see how people be like, oh, this is too much. I need somebody to tell me what to do. Like, tell me the steps, because it can be a little overwhelming. Yeah. But I would say that when I look back at my bounce back rate, I'm like, I got this. So even like Christy and I were talking, I was in a funk. Like I'm still halfway. I'm turning the funk to fun, but I'm telling you, I was in a funk. But I know how to surrender to that moment because I know that it is for a reason. Yeah. I don't like this. I mean, like, I'm boo-hooing, crying shit. We had tennis. I can't barely keep my eyes from tears. Just, it's a mess.
But see, the thing is also, so I will say, I and then you can correct me, but I feel like you surrendered to allowing yourself to be in that space.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think a lot of people just be like, oh, hide the feelings.
No.
Pretend that life is still going on.
No, Mama did that for 37 years. So when the blow up happens, it's not cute. So no, I know better now. And that's the other thing. I may be dumb, but I ain't stupid. I don't do the same shit too. Big stuff like that. Realizing that, oh my God, this is what happens when you don't allow yourself to feel the feelings when it pops, because it will pop. It's ugly. It's so yeah, no. But I definitely allow myself, because there's a reason for this. There's a time for this. And then I also understand spiritually from a collective standpoint what's going on. So I know that as an individual, I'm a piece of the collective. So I'm feeling some of the collective too. And the collective is feeling me. We're all a piece of this. So when I think about it, almost everybody I talk to, literally all the healers I talk to, like off like everybody, all of the whole crew, like I don't know what's going on. Like I don't I just need a minute. Like I don't know what it is, but learning how to surrender to whatever it is, because you know that guess what? This shit is temporary.
Yep. It's not forever.
So I'm here. So what's going on? I don't like this. I'm but be honest, I'm still very much so like, no, but for real, is it over yet?
No, for real. Like seriously.
Okay, I'm tired. I don't wanna.
But I will say that surrendering, and we talked about this, surrendering is scary, because I'm a planner. Like when we had this conversation about, you've traveled before and haven't had a hotel booked, but you just go someplace and you book the hotel there, that would freak me out. Like I would, that would freak me out. Every time I travel, I create an itinerary. My boyfriend will attest to it. I mean, he likes it, but I have an itinerary. Not that I have to follow it to a T, but I just like to know. And again, I don't push it on anyone else.
I get that. Because I think that whenever I travel, there are definitely things that I'm like, I want to go see this. But I don't care what day it is, what time it is. If it's something like, oh, you have to go get the tickets for this, okay, fine, I'll buy the tickets for it. But if it's like, okay, I'm, in Paris and I want to go see Notre Dame Cathedral, I'm just making, even though, have they finished rebuilding it? Whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like, okay, Thursday when I get there, I'm going to do this. It's like, okay, I'm going to eat and then I'm going to explore and whatever comes. But one of these days I'm going to fit these 5 must-haves in, and then whatever else comes, I'm with it. And I'm even to the point where I could be on my way to something, but I only do this when I'm by myself, because I know this probably will make people have heart attacks. But I could totally be like, oh, I'm going to the art museum. I'm on my way, and I could walk past and see a concert, be like, oh, I'm doing this now. I don't have no fucking problem with that. Yep, I bought the ticket, but I'm over it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm gonna do right now. Like, I allow myself to be in the moment of whatever. But I'm learning. I like that.
And I think I've learned that from you too. Just like, Christy, it will be what it will be.
It's always gonna be okay.
And I always feel like once you accept that, it's always perfect and right. Like, have you ever been to a party?
Ooh, I love that. Yes.
You've been to a birthday party, and it's like, oh well, not everyone showed up. No, the people that are here are the people that
needed to be here.
Right.
Yes.
Those are the people that are supposed to be here. And so I've released. I mean, I'm still working on this, y'all, but I've just released the whole expectation of this is how it has to be. But one of the things that's helped me is just understanding and realizing that spirit, the universe, always has bigger blessings for us, bigger than what we can ever imagine or anticipate being able to give to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. But also, one of the things we talk about is, remembering that you're not alone. Yeah. Because I think knowing that you got a team behind you, that you have love behind you, that that the universe is literally conspiring on your behalf for your own fulfillment. Surrendering is not that difficult anymore. You know what I mean? It's still difficult, but you're betting with house money. Like, look at it like that, yo. You're gambling, but you're really gambling with house money because you know the end before the beginning. Yep. So if you really look at it like this is another thing that allows me to surrender. I see it. I know for a fact what's going to happen. Do I know every step? Nope. But I know what the end is.
See, that brings us to the next piece of all of this is trust. Because the more that you develop the trust that you have for yourself, the more you're able to surrender. And I think that's another thing that I'm working on too, is just fully trusting myself, trusting the divinity in me, trusting that my guides are always going to take me to a place that is right and perfect for me for that time. But trust is huge, and it breeds surrendering. So once you allow yourself to fully trust in yourself, fully trust in the universe, you're able to better surrender.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you don't care. You just you have complete faith.
Exactly. No, I look. I think also surrendering allows you to truly feel the power of your life. Like for real, just let it.
We
just,
are powerful beings.
Just letting it go, and you're just like, oh, I released it.
Yeah.
I made a petition. I have an intention. I have a dream. I have a vision. I have a desire. I designed it. I created it. If it's in my heart, it's because it's real. It's done. It's already done.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it's just, whew. And when we talk, have you ever heard people talk about, how much of your brain you use?
Yeah,
you
only
use
10%?
Less, like 6%, something crazy like that. So, if let's just go to 10. For kicks and giggles. If we're only using 10% of our brain capacity, which is crazy, what's the other 90% doing? And look, if you're able to do some of the beautiful, amazing, outstanding things that you have done using 10% of your awareness, your consciousness, in your brain, can you imagine when you surrender and allow yourself to tap into other places of your brain that you didn't even know exist, other places in your consciousness and your soul's journey, all just by surrendering to what is. Because so the formula we talked about, we said the math don't add up. Okay, I was taught X gets you Z. Got it. So, but what happens is when we become so indoctrinated to this programming, all of a sudden our goal is to get to Z.
Yeah.
When that might not have even been what the fuck your goal was. That might not even been what your dream is. But now I'm programmed to believe like, oh, this is what everybody does. You do this, and you get to Z. But when you start to surrender to who you are and your desires and your life, you're like, actually, I don't even like Z. Who the fuck wants Z?
Right.
I'm over here trying to get 11. Y'all on numbers? I mean letters. I'm on numbers. I'm on numbers and symbols. Who cares about Z? You know what I mean? But that's allowing yourself to, and let me tell you something. That was one of the most difficult things, for real.
Was it?
Absolutely. Just surrendering to the fact that I don't want Z.
Right. Because
my God.
Because like you said, we are indoctrinated into the system, and when you step out of line, everyone else looks at you like you're crazy. Wait, what do you mean you're not going to college after school? Or what do you mean? So I feel that.
Yeah, like
even now, like I feel like I'm stepping out of what people expect, and at this point,
and here's another, and that's the thing: surrendering to the fact that what other people expect has nothing to do with you. That is not your business.
It's not, no. Because at this point, I'm focused on my happiness.
So we talked a little bit about like free will.
Yeah.
I think this is why you'll hear a lot of healers say that there is no free will. And so it's because when we are indoctrinated, it's like, this is what you do. You go to school, you do this, you get a job working for somebody else, making this much money, and you have this. And so they're like, you don't have free will because there's only these choices before.
Oh, like, absolutely. I used to do that with my kids.
So free will is really,
they make you feel like,
but it's not. It's
right.
disguised as these are the options before you.
I used to do that.
And right, exactly. That's exactly what
you want an apple or you want a banana.
Right,
making it seem like they get a chance to make the choice.
Ooh,
I want a banana.
Guess what? And that's what our grown ass is doing.
Exactly.
Do you want to live like this or like this? You're like, well, I want to live like this, when they're hiding the fact that it's a myriad of possibilities,
Yes.
dreams, and visions that you could be. But we too busy choosing between a goddamn apple and banana to even know. And we think like,
You could be a mango.
Right, you never even, I mean, we out here pine a cactus. You could be whatever the hell you want to be.
Tumbleweed.
But surrendering to
Yeah.
the fact that you don't want the options before you, whew,
And it's
hey
okay.
baby.
Okay.
That was a more difficult surrendering for me. Just like everything that everyone's saying, this is what you're supposed to do, and I'm like, why am I not excited about that?
Mm-hmm.
That's not. I don't want Z or
Yeah.
Y or Q
It's
or
like,
P.
yeah, no, I think I
No.
want a star.
It's
I think I want a moon, a cloud.
like I mean, just even and honestly, it's really masterful when you think about all of the options that you are given before you, because and you have so many, but you're still in a position where options and choices are being put in front of you. So it's like a big ass concrete wall, and you're just looking, when on the other side of that wall is literally what you can make and dream yourself.
Yep.
But again, you can't, law and order, and that's very difficult to control. Like how if everybody knows that they can create their own life, how you gonna work for me? How I'm gonna get these people to come in and I tell them what they're worth? How is that going to happen?
Yeah.
Unless it's something that these people actually, like, if you trust that who
system,
comes to you is right for me in this position because this is something they want to do. And if you trust and allow that, then any workplace you go to will be a different type of workplace because you actually have people who want to be there.
Yeah.
But that's not what necessarily happens. Now it's just like, well, I have to get a job. I have to go do this because what else am I supposed to do? And again, yes, you do need to live in this human experience. You need food and shelter, but also what's wrong? Oh, but also understand that if you don't, also understand that you can be in this world, but also understand that you have the magic and the power and the divinity in you to carve out your own way.
Yep.
Like, okay, I'm gonna play this game with y'all for a little while while I go over here and carve my own shit. and honestly, I feel like it's happening with a lot of people.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
That's true. So I came across this one mantra and I really liked it. So I just wanted to share. So the mantra states, anything that I can envision in my mind, the universe has the capacity to deliver exponentially even more. And that's so true, and that's something that I mentioned earlier. Like, what we envision for ourselves in our mind, it's limited. But when we trust and surrender and put our faith in spirit, the universe, God, there is so much more, that is available to us. So that I thought that mantra was really cool. So also surrendering requires that you live in a non-attached way. Mm-hmm. And so learning to live in a non-attached way, basically you're just loosening your grip. You're just opening your hands and letting go of that tight grip that you have in life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And understand that everything in life is borrowed. So once you realize that everything in life is borrowed, mm-hmm. you start to open up and understand.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on, everything. Oh.
Yeah, like, we can't take this shit with us once we die. Like, it's not.
You know what? I like that because I think that also speaks to the way that we treat this planet. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't ours.
No, it's not.
It's like this.
Everything is borrowed.
Like, the fact that. So, everything. And you know what? I like that. All this stuff, it's not even real. But yeah.
Right. But then it also helps you to live in a way where you are not as attached to things. You know, material things, of course, they're nice. I feel like those are pleasures of being human. But once you get to a point where it's just like, well, this is just like, it's borrowed. Like, this isn't really mine.
Even just acknowledging that something material. It's just like, I'm doing this because I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with who I am.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's not like
we talked about this before.
Have more stuff that has nothing to do with who you are as.
You could be spiritual and like nice things. It's all right.
Okay, exactly. But you know what though? I want to talk about what you said, the tight grip on stuff. Just because did we talk about forgiveness? I'm sure we've done an episode on forgiveness.
Yeah, we've talked about forgiveness.
But the tight grip, like, think about anything beautiful. When we get something beautiful, we want to hold on to it so damn bad.
Protect
it.
Glass vase.
You got the little, we get this beautiful butterfly and we want to hold on to it because I don't want it to go anywhere, and we suffocate it. You know what I mean? So surrendering, and I'm even going to say in relationship, I know people are going to be mad about this.
So no, it's true. But our mate or our spouse or whomever, they're not ours. They're not our property.
Can you please say that
again? Surrender. You have to surrender that. Again,
yes.
It's like learning to live in a non-attached way. And I just want to use this quick example. So my ex-husband was really like big about money, wanted to have as much as he could, and so he held money on with like a tight grip. And he, we would get into arguments about money because my relationship with money is different than his. Like, I'm more like, okay, whatever, it'll come.
Like, it's gonna come.
Money's energy, like, it'll come back. But his grip was so tight on money, he was always like in lack because he held on to it, And then the way that I kind of viewed money, it was like a surrender. My palm was open so the energy can flow through.
It can flow in and out.
But again,
but the ownership I get,
right?
You know what I mean? Especially with like people that we love, your partners. Like, that is an agreement of energy between two people. If at any point they decide that they do not agree with the energy or they are not in alignment with it,
they are free to go.
And sometimes that's one of the most difficult things for us to accept, because it's not only that. It's not even if they're free to go. I got one even better for you. They won't leave, but they're going to act a fool. So now you're in a position, guess what you have to do? Because you can't control them. You're like, dude, what is wrong with you? And they're going to say what they need to say. So you have to surrender to the fact that these people are going to be who the heck they're going to be. And now it's up to you.
It's going to be what it's going to be.
Are you going to be the one that acknowledges and finally accepts and surrenders? Like, this is just who they are. And it is what it is. And I love them or I care about them. But am I going to surrender to me trying to... am I not going to surrender and keep trying to control something that I can't control? Yeah. And I'll tell you something else. You know how they say give somebody a rope long enough to hang themselves? I'm going to tell you, that works. Because it's something like I have to, you're going to do it. And then because when you give somebody the space and the freedom to be who they are, and they choose to be in alignment with what you guys decided you wanted to be, and they are faithful, and with all those things, that is a wholly different type of trust and love that you feel, as opposed to you having to manipulate somebody, put them on punishment.
I own you.
Yes, like, you owe me. Yeah. I did this. We so good, real quick to be like, I did this for you. I did this for you. I sacrificed this. Well, okay. And I'm still acting an ass. So now what? Now what you gonna do? You gonna sacrifice some more, or you gonna surrender to the fact that this is who the hell I am? And if that's not what you want, you have control. But you gotta surrender to the fact that you cannot control me. You got control over your own body.
And even like you said with our children, we can only control like what we're able. We can only control our output. Mm-hmm. We can't control our children's output. Of course, we want them to, every parent wants their child to be better and more successful and happier than they were. But again, that's that releasing the idea of ownership and just allowing people to be who they're going to be. If it's not what what resonates with you, then you have control over your choices and actions. So I wanted to ask you, can you share a time when you surrendered and everything worked out beyond your expectations?
So many, honestly.
Yeah.
Let me see. I would say turning 40, entering my 40s. I was that person who I remember saying this to my family, like joking that I was gonna turn 25 and just go between 21 and 25 for the rest of my life.
My older sister does that.
Like, I legit was, until you just forget. I think that I was so afraid, but this is why though. I was so afraid of what that meant. Like, does it mean it's over? Like, if I haven't achieved what I thought I want to achieve and shit, now I got whole new dreams. So what, is it too late for me? But that's because I was holding on to the expectation of what X and Z is. So if it doesn't look like what Z is, that does that. You know what I mean? So when I surrendered to, like, this number means nothing. Absolutely. I honestly feel like I'm aging backwards. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do feel like the wiser. I love this saying, like, the more I heal, the finer I get. Like, real talk. And I honestly feel that way, but I had to surrender to the idea that 40-year-old black woman is not, whatever that stereotype is, it doesn't have shit to do with you, sis. You are who you are, and surrender to the idea that you can create it. But what that also does, though, keeping it 100, it puts the onus on you. And if you are not ready to take responsibility and manage yourself, and some people truly, like, I don't want to do this. That's hard. I want to know what's happening. I want to know what's going to come next. But when you surrender to allowing life to be, you don't know what's coming next. You don't, you know what I mean? That's why I said people actually would choose, like, no, like, I like the plan. I like the formula that was laid out before me. I want to follow that. That feels good to me. I like that there are stations in life and it works like this. And there's no judgment on that, because I understand that that's from a fear place, because you feel like you don't have control, but you do. But understanding you have control means you have to surrender to the fact that what's in front of you, you don't want.
Did you guys get that?
So I think, so my birthday will be 4/4. Hey, I'm excited about that. But
I love even numbers. That's a good number.
I will say that surrendering to the fact that I still have control over my life, or actually newfound control over my life, and there is not a definition or description of who and what I'm supposed to be, because y'all can't create my life.
Right.
I create my own life. But figuring that out at 40 plus, whoo, child, that was just like, that doesn't make sense, because I spent my entire life getting Z, because that's what I was taught and believed was so important. And when I go, like, I'm going hard in the paint. I'm with this. I'm a champion. I'm a win. And you know what I mean? It's just like taking me away from that, and that's what got me to that place. Like, oh my God, like, I'm 40. I'm about to be a 2-time divorcee. What the? Hold on. Hold on. Right.
We are both in the same boat. Yes.
But that was, what about you?
So I think I mentioned this in last week's episode, possibly. But I will say a time when I fully surrendered, stepped out on faith, everyone thought I was crazy, was when I moved to New York when I was 19.
Ah, yes.
$10 in my pocket.
Come on. Wait, y'all, every time we talk about this, I chuckle so damn hard.
But the funny thing is, now I don't know that I would do that. Maybe, I don't know. But
there is something to it. There is an innocence in youth. There is a belief that I can do anything in youth. And when you get a little bit older, you're like, no, because we start thinking about all the stuff that could happen at 19. You're like, what could happen? I'm a dancer. I am about to go out there and get it. What?
And my parents actually, I mean, my mother doesn't bet, but they actually had a conversation like, she'll be back in a month. And I was there for 7.5 years. But I would say that that was something that ended up like being beyond my wildest dreams. It was an experience that I will treasure for the rest of my life. But that was a time where I really just surrendered to life. Like, okay, I'm gonna drop out of school, move to New York. I don't know where I'm gonna live. Don't have a job. I didn't even know if I was gonna get a scholarship at the dance studio. Had $10 in my pocket. I just had enough to get my plane ticket. My mother wrote me a check at the gate for $75. That's all she wrote. But I somehow I mean, of course, I had angels all around me, you guys. That's for real, for real. And I think that situation taught me that I have always been taken care of.
Ooh.
And I think from that situation, being able to look back, I realized like I've always been taken care of. So it will be what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
I mean, I will say that, and I'm being really honest here, you guys. I think that, or I should say, really open about it. I think there are so many times in my life where I've had different levels of surrendering.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, surrendering to the fact that no matter what you do, you can't control how people treat you. That was really difficult because I just didn't make. And the logical side of me is like, this does not add up. It's really simple. But as I've gotten older, or I should say, as I've progressed down my journey, how I surrender and what I'm surrendering to has definitely changed.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same for me. All right, true or false? Sometimes we are put in situations where there is nothing for us to do but to trust the universe and surrender.
Woo! Facts. I think big facts.
Because sometimes we get comfortable.
Ooh,
you know,
big
and Spirit's
facts.
like, yeah, no, you have some lessons that you need to learn. I think it's time for you to...
I do think that Spirit will sometimes put you in positions where it's almost, where you have an opportunity to connect with them and have and understand what the team that you have on. Like, you sure. When I tell you that I'm offering you a protective bubble and guidance to help you through this, and you trying to tell me that you want to keep walking down this path and getting hit in the head with 2x4s and nails in them, I mean, okay, that's cool. But I'm just saying, like, you know that it, like you won't feel none of that.
You sure?
You sure? Okay, you just like getting tetanus shots with rusty nails. Okay, that's fine with me. But I definitely think, I can't even. Y'all know I'm a very feeling person. Even you saying that takes me back to the times where I was just like, oh my God, I can't do nothing but just be here. Like, I mean, I have literally been like, okay, y'all, what you want? Because this is ridiculous. Clearly, like, I give up. Okay, my hands are on the table. Let's do this. Come on, tell me what you. But getting there, especially when you're like, I got this. I can control this. I'm working it. I'm gonna. And then it just all just.
You get to a point where it's like, you know what? Fuck it.
But thank you.
Have your way. Just have it.
But,
just do it.
So and this is. I'm so glad because this is actually perfect. Because what that allows us, when we have those moments, we either have a choice of surrendering to the fact that we are spiritual beings and, we have some backup, or we surrender to have at it, fucking please just control me, tell me what to do. Because it can get that bad. And if you're not aware that you have God in you, then you're going to surrender to something else. You're going to surrender to, like, and this is what a lot of times what happens when people, you know how people go from crackhead to straight, like, religious nut, is because they hit to the point, you hit rock bottom, you're like, I don't know where to go. And so people believe, I don't know how to control this or fix this, so what I'm going to have to do is go someplace for somebody to tell me how to fix it. So when you have that moment, that realization, that opening, that, oh my goodness, it's, okay, I give up. Now what? I give up. Now what? You have an option. Where are you going to go? When you realize, wait a minute, hold on, I might be able to do this. I might just have just enough. Wait, so you're trying to tell me God is in me? I don't have to go through somebody else to discover how beautiful I am? And so when you tell somebody that, guess what, you are a beautiful soul, you are amazing, but the only way that you're going to feel and learn and believe that is if you come to this place and you give me this and you do this and you do that and you go through this person or this door, you'll never believe that. Whereas you have another option, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm a beautiful soul, I created this. Wait, God's in me?
Yep.
Wait, I'm God? Wait a minute, hold on, let me think about this. And oftentimes people will choose it's only because and this is the thing why I get upset with the way that religion manipulates us, is because when people are coming to a specific religion is because they are searching for God. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and we do such a disservice to each other when we do not tell people, let me get you a mirror. That's, you know what I mean? But inside, when you go to a church service, somebody's like, when I've been to a couple of churches where I literally have heard the pastor talks about connecting to the divinity in you, which is completely different.
Right. You don't hear that a lot.
We don't hear that a lot. I used to love this gospel song, Mary, is that the? Mm-hmm. It's the God in me. Mm-hmm. I used to love that song because that's when I started. I'm like, I can relate to this. Like this makes sense to me.
And that's the truth.
And it's the truth.
Yeah. So, and I, going back to when you're pushed in that corner.
Like, what do you think?
Fuck it.
What do you think happens when you're pushed? Like, do you think that's a real thing, or what? What do you think happens?
Oh, absolutely. I think sometimes, we're on a couch, comfy, drinking our wine,
baby,
and something happens, and it's like, shit, it's time for me to get up, and I have to get uncomfortable. But I will say that once you get to the point where it's just like, fuck it, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Because this has happened to me too. I find, and this is from me, that what I'm supposed to do, or what God has for me, or what Spirit's trying to direct me, I see it. Like it's more clear.
It's almost like when
it's
you
like,
get
it's
to
right
the bottom.
here. It's
right.
like all this time. It's like, oh,
I get it.
It makes sense now. Because that actually happened the other day. Something happened, and I was just like, fuck it. And then I pulled some cards, and then I pulled cards, and then something else happened. I was like, oh, okay, I see. Thank you. You guys are always looking out for me. But yeah, I think sometimes we just need to be put in a situation where we just have to shift out of our comfort zone. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then I think also one of the things that I've found in surrendering, again, you guys, I have not perfected this, I'm still working on this, is that enjoy the adventure of surrendering. It allows you to flow from a space of joy and excitement, and not from a place of anxiousness or frustration. And that's for me.
She said
that's for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is for me, because now I look at things. So like so for my daughter's 17th birthday, we went to Mexico, and I kind of screwed things up. Most, like, the trip, there were like little bits and pieces of things that were just falling apart. I was like, oh well. And I would tell Kai, it's an adventure.
Girl, that is my daily mantra.
It's an adventure. It is an adventure. And then, also just going back to feeling the feels, it is okay to process the emotions once you do. Once you feel the feels, release it, let go, and get in that truck and enjoy the adventure of life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I like that. I like that. I love a good adventure. And honestly, sometimes that gets me through some of those lower moments, those lower vibrational moments when I'm having a conversation when it's dark night of the soul for me, when I'm really digging through myself. Yeah. Remembering that it's an adventure. It's not about the destination per se, but remembering, like, the journey is it. Like, it is it. This is it. It's like this is where you are right in this moment. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. So that helps me. I'm like, okay, you know what? It's an adventure. Fuck it. Look, I'm like, and
life is an adventure.
It is.
And I think once you learn to surrender and let go of the outcome, you start looking at life in a more playful and fun, exciting lens. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's different for everyone. But that's how I'm learning to look at life. Like, it's it's an adventure. Whatever. Look, it's gonna be what it will be.
It's gonna be what it is.
Yeah. So,
I love it. So we, what would you say the biggest thing, takeaway?
The biggest takeaway in surrendering, shoot. I'm gonna say just, life is a roller coaster, and you're gonna have moments where the ride twists you up, down, upside down, backwards. But there are gonna be moments where that ride is so exciting and fun. Like, if you get on the ride and you, like, your intention is to enjoy it, I think that's how you'll be able to translate that in life. You'll be able to learn to enjoy life, even with its ups and downs, because life has lots of ups and downs. But surrendering to it, I think, allows you to just...
But, I like this analogy you use of the ride. And I'm going to say, when I say this is from experience...
Some days I do want to get off the ride.
This is real. No, seriously. I will say this. Make sure that you are surrendering to your ride.
Ooh.
I can't... Hey! But, no, seriously. Sometimes we knowingly or unknowingly get on somebody else's ride, their mission, and then we get upset when this shit is all over the place and it's an emotional roller coaster and it's up and down. It's like, well, that's your fault. You set in this ride.
Yeah.
If that's not the type of ride that you want to be on, step off.
Because you have control.
But surrender to, and the thing is, you surrendering to the point that I have an option and choice in this is sometimes the most difficult thing, because people feel like I'm stuck. It's like, no, you're not stuck nowhere. Yes, it may be uncomfortable for you. And that's the thing, because we're trying to prevent pain. But if you're in the middle of pain, and you're like, I'm trying to prevent more pain, baby, you just ride look, just do because if you're already there, what do you have to lose by surrendering to the fact that I don't deserve this? This is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Take both of them.
Yep. So what would you say is your takeaway? Oh, no, you just said that. You just said your takeaway.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions for the queens?
I did not get any questions for the queens this week.
Where y'all at with these questions?
Sure.
Temple work.
Okay, so you guys, today actually is, we're recording on the full moon day, and it was a lunar eclipse.
There's a lot going on.
Last night we weren't able to see it in North America, but some of our people in South America and a couple other places were able to see it. But you can actually Google, and you can see some people recorded the lunar. Why can't what is that thing called?
Eclipse.
Thank you. Wow. Some people recorded the lunar eclipse, and it's really beautiful to look at. So there's that. But so by the time you guys hear this on Friday, you will still be in that energy field where you can release. So this is what, let me tell y'all something. Whether or not you release or not, people are going through changes and adjustments. We are being presented with ourselves, with our old patterns, with things that no longer serve us, that we are holding on to with that tight grip. So in the theme of surrendering, what are we surrendering with this full moon? What is it that you are willing, that you are ready, willing, and able to let go that brings you closer to your divinity? So this evening or today, whenever you have the chance, what I would like for you all to do is kind of just write a petition to yourself of what you're allowing yourself to let go. It can be, and when I say petition, that's a letter of your intention of what you are willing to let go. Because also make sure when you tell yourself, when you write what you're letting go, that could be an old pattern, a relationship, whatever it is that you are letting go of, remind yourself in that letter why you're letting that go. So for instance, with myself, I am writing a petition tonight to myself to release old patterns. I've started realizing during this time that I have a pattern of behavior, and it takes me right back to the same spot. And I realize in order for me to move forward in this one area of my life, I have to release this pattern. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to release this pattern, but I'm going to, in order for me to move forward into this next phase of Mia, into, more of self-mastery, I have to release this. So tonight, I'm writing this. I'm going to go outside to the full moon, and, we burn stuff. So burn that baby. And if you're able to go outside, if not, if you're in your home, burn it in the sink so you can, make sure. But I would suggest that you go outside. Please be careful, you all.
Yep.
But just imagine that as you are burning what you have released and what you are bringing towards you. So I'm releasing this because I am allowing more blessings and love and my dreams and my visions to come into me. But there's something that's blocking me. It's time to let that go, y'all. And so go out there and do it. Protect yourself. Love on yourself. But we're going to be presented with a lot, I would say, in the next coming months. It's, it's just that time. And so we're going to be presented with the opportunity for us to grow. So surrender to that process. Yep. But allow yourself to let go of stuff. All right, what's the crystal?
Okay, so this week's featured crystal is Adjoite or Adjo quartz. And this crystal brings about love, healing, emotional support, and surrender. Element for this crystal is storm. Chakras for this particular crystal that it works on is heart, throat, third eye, crown, etheric, which is above the head. So Adjoite is one of the sweetest, most nurturing and loving energies of any stones in the mineral kingdom. And this is thought by many experts in this field. And it's a pure bearer of the vibrations of the Earth Mother, the feminine aspects of the life force of our planet. And so Adjo can cleanse the heart of sorrow, wash negativity out of one's thoughts, and open the floodgates for the ocean of love. That sounds so good.
That does.
To life.
I need to get some of this. What's this called?
To the higher planes. And it also helps connect to goddess energies. This particular crystal not only can help us release our old grief and pain, this actually may be what you need, Mia.
Look, I'm like, hold on. We need to find this.
It can help us release our old grief and pain, but once this process has progressed, we are gifted with the sense of growing strength and confidence, a clear-minded sense of our own goodness and our ability to move forward on the spiritual path. Also, this crystal can act as an ally to call upon when one wishes to develop receptivity, stillness, and surrender to the divine.
Come on now.
And spiritually, it's a great stone to use for communication with angelic entities. It carries angelic energy and or the nurturing aspect of the divine source. So emotionally, it can help one gain perspective on situations that are emotionally charged and can help one to understand the underlying emotional basis for the experience and guides one to gently but firmly remove old emotional patterning, which is what we had talked about.
Absolutely love it.
So both of us, we have not worked with it, but in my crystal course, we had talked about it, and it's pretty expensive, but it's a really great crystal to have as part of your healing arsenal. So I thought that was a great crystal to.
That's perfect. Have. I want to see it. What does it look like? Let's go find some.
It's like a whitish, bluish kind of. It's
you said throat, so blue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like it kind of looks like has like a. We'll have to pull up some pictures, but I don't have it in my collection. But I'm going to add it whenever there's a crystal I don't have. I tend to get it. But
I was about to say I like this. Me too. We're gonna have to find some of this.
Yes.
So really quickly, you guys, hold on. I'm over here multitasking. Give me a second, Munchkin. Our message for the day. So I want to talk about releasing the fear of what comes next. Okay? I know it's not easy, but we have to release the idea that if you don't know what happens next or that control of what comes next, that it's almost like we're blocking what comes next, right? So, especially when it comes to matters of the heart, that fear is even greater. I'm going to tell you why. Because when we let go of a relationship that we know is not for us, we face the fear of being alone, right? And what if this person or relationship is really, and we know it's really not for us, and we don't have a potential mate. So you in a situation where you're like, okay, I know this isn't for me, but I don't have any place to go, nobody to be with. So people will stay in situations all because they don't know what's next. Oh no, look, raise my hand, baby. I have definitely been there. Okay,
that was me.
So because we're not releasing the fear of what comes next, and especially and I'm gonna spank myself and some other people when you hear this. Sometimes we don't let go of relationships that we know aren't good for us because we don't want the other person to be with somebody first. Yeah. People will hold on to relationships until they find somebody, because as long as this person, we don't want our exes to get to the good stuff first. So when we do that, like, I can't even, that's not the best option for yourself spiritually, because let me tell you something. Karma is very real. It can be a beautiful thing or it can be a bitch. Karma's not a bitch unless you are, okay? And if you're doing some bitch made shit, trying to intentionally hurt somebody when you know that they're not good for you, or you're not good for them, but hold on to them until you find something, trust and believe that karma comes back to you. So even our intention for who we are and what we're releasing needs to like that intention for other people can affect our karma, right? Okay. So when we don't take some time and heal ourselves for cleansing, it's like it's almost like having it's like having your new guy come over to your house. You haven't cleansed or healed yourself, and he comes over and you give him your old nigga's underwear. Because you haven't given yourself time, because you want back to back to back to back. And as a person, look, I'm raising my hand. So how we get past, what if that person finds someone first, or what, here's another fear. What if he does all the things that I always wanted him to do with somebody else? Baby, that would keep somebody in a relationship for years. Years, because you're like, I don't want anybody to get all this work I've done.
Or I've trained him. But here's the thing, you guys. Focus on your clear plate. Start creating what you really want, okay? And you have to cleanse your space, yourself, and your spirit in order for you to move forward. And in order to move to a place where you're allowing yourself to create, sometimes isolation needs to happen. Going back to the void from which we all came. So just if you imagine ourselves, there were all little universes. Just how, there's the universe, and your body, your being is a universe. So you create chaos in you, you create love in you. And so we can create all of these things within us. But know that even if you are consciously or unconsciously doing it, you are creating spaces, feelings, places in your own universe that is your sovereign being, right? So surrendering to, I don't know what's going to come next, as opposed to, it's like dealing with the devil you don't, and dealing with the, instead of the devil you don't know, dealing with the devil you know, as opposed to the devil you don't know. I understand that pull, but what if it's not a devil you about to deal with in the next phase? You have to surrender to what's coming next, especially when you know that you can create it. So when you think about what you want next in a relationship, create who you are in that relationship, and that energy comes to you, but you have to release what doesn't belong to you. Let me tell you something. If you're with somebody and you don't feel it, let them go. That doesn't belong to you. They don't belong to you in the first place, but you know what I mean. That's not your energetic mate at this time, period. So surrender to the fact that there might be a little bit of time where you're, and they might just be fine, and that's not your business. Yep.
Okay? Surrender to yourself, your creativity, to the love that you are, and create what you want. All right, that's it, y'all. That's the message for today. Woo. Stop holding on to this stuff that don't belong to y'all. But y'all know exactly. I know. There's some people's like, ooh.
You know who she's talking to.
Ooh, they're like, ooh. Yeah, I am still with dude. Just because.
Looking over at him, rolling your eyes, knowing you let him go. You get on my nerves.
So what we got next week?
Ooh, next week, we are talking about the link between forgiveness and manifestation.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, forgiveness is powerful.
Forgiveness is
I'm excited about that.
The whole process of healing is powerful. Mm-hmm. And it definitely, I mean, it opens up your life to just a completely different version of yourself, and allows you to function in the world in just a different way. So we preach, we talk about healing, we talk about forgiveness, all of those things, but there's a purpose to that. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to Two Queens and Crystal Things.
Thank you.
We
love always, y'all.
Yes, love you guys. Always, as always, thank you.
Please send a review us.
Show us some love.
Share with your friends. Please follow us at Two Queens Crystal Things on IG. Yep. We love sharing with you guys. We have some new stuff coming out because we asked you guys what you wanted to see, and for some reason y'all want to know what's going on with us. Yes. But we're happy to share. It's this is a part of the journey that I'm really enjoying, so we appreciate it. You can follow Christy at Christy R. Edwards on IG.
And then you can follow Mia at Wings Unleashed 444. She is a soul reader, a light energy healer, a spiritual coach.
Stop it. But y'all still gonna do what you want to do, right? Pretty much.
But that's okay. But thank you guys again. We appreciate the love and support. And until next week, we will see you guys. Bye.